Recently, I discovered that in order to bring your bicycle with you on the train in Japan, you have to get a designated bag, strip down the wheels, and carry it as luggage. Probably one of the biggest cultural shocks for my narrow European mind, used to bike racks aboard the train. And probably something one should not do on weekdays, as the trains get crowded. Mind you, that's exactly what I did. Hello there and welcome back. No panic, I didn't try to shove me and my bike on a train during rush hour. I got the 6 AM train on purpose and avoided the most crowded time frame, right on time actually. Quick stop to fuel up on Pocari, cause today we're on a special trip out on the bike, an overnight of camping. And while we're at it, a first proper test ride for my new bag setup, in which we will delve deeper into later in this video. Our destination for the camping trip will be Hikawa camping site in Okutama, roughly 80 kilometers west of Tokyo. I booked a small cabin for a night, since I didn't bring any camping gear with me, but that will do for now. Got off the train in Ome at the very edge of Tokyo's metropolitan area. We have a 30 kilometers ride ahead of us, heading to Okutama, following the Tama River's valley, which runs all the way to Tokyo. That's the same river you saw in the group riding video. This is my very first time in the Japanese countryside, and I have to say I needed this. Reminds me a lot of the areas around my hometown, and I felt quite nostalgic. Also, it's always nice to get away from the city's hustle and bustle from time to time. I'd really recommend checking this place out if you have the chance. It's pretty accessible, even by train, with train stations in every major village. Or if you're going by bike, the hills are not that steep, so it's pretty doable, even if you don't have much experience. You also get to stop wherever you feel like. Since it's still early in the morning, I took my sweet time to explore some back alleys here as well, strafing away from the main road that follows the river and take in all the lush green of the vibrant woods in the surrounding areas. Something that amazed me is the number of abandoned cars, left untouched by man but absorbed by nature. Feels quite artistic and post-apocalyptic at the same time. Of course, you cannot expect to find coffee roasters easily out of town, but while planning this trip, I discovered a cute looking cafe that we're going to check out pretty soon. Conveniently placed in the very middle of my ride, so that will make for a perfect coffee stop. To my surprise, it was part of this complex revolving around local tofu and sake, with a restaurant and liquor store nearby, right beside the river. Beautiful area where the river takes in all the lush green from the surrounding trees. This is Shizuku, which means droplet of water. Probably the best looking cafe I've ever been to. Extremely quiet, traditional flavor in each room, completely made out of wood, and the scenario on the patio was just priceless. Coffee was good, dark roast, which I'm not that used to, but for the place alone, this cafe gets a solid 9 out of 10. And their tofu cheesecake was just fantastic, made with the locally produced tofu. Definitely a hidden gem and worth checking out. Back on the bike for the second half of our trip. I'm quite fascinated by how nature blends with infrastructure outside of cities here in Japan. Must be lovely to travel on this train and take in all the scenario. As I said, the hills are not that steep, and sometimes you also get these hilly segments where you can do a little bit of hill bumping, which always does good to the soul. Despite not getting much elevation on this road, it's impressive how far below the river valley goes. During this ride, I also discovered a mental challenge I've never thought before: tunnels. It was my first time riding into a tunnel, and the car noises surround you no matter where the car is. Can feel pretty ominous, and to be honest, I felt a little bit of discomfort, considering this tunnel alone was almost 2 kilometers long. Thankfully, they had a wall-separated sidewalk, and we made it safely to the other side. We finally reached Okutama, quite late for Japanese lunchtime. In fact, the only place open was a pasta place. How fun. Lore friendly, if I have to say. I definitely wasn't expecting to eat pasta in the Japanese countryside, but you can never know until you try. Also got the chance to try a craft beer from a local brewer, Vertere. Solid drink, very sweet and fruity, even though I'm a more of a dark beer kind of guy. This time, the view was not as immaculate as before. I still had 1 hour to spare before the check-in at my cabin, so I decided to get a snack at this place I found while looking at the maps. New Dagashia Sanma. New Sanma candy store. I was lured inside by the things they had. As I was chatting with the owner, Murakami-san, he explained to me that this candy shop was created to give Okutama's children a place to have fun and relax after school, where they can gather together, eat candies, and play games and video games. I'm quite young for most of these consoles, but Metal Slug was probably one of my first video games ever, and I still have clear memories of playing it as a kid. And of course, I had to check Final Fantasy VII on their PlayStation 1, which I'm currently playing, by the way. Felt extremely refreshing to see a place like this. Reminds me that community is everything, especially in isolated places like this. Checking in at Hikawa camping site in our humble cabin for the night. I have to say it was quite eerie at first, especially to the thought of spending a night alone in the middle of the woods with no distractions or stimuli. Tells us how much we're used to entertaining and to using our time efficiently, almost to the point that spending time properly relaxing feels strange. But it was eventually beneficial. Much needed night outside of the city. I'm glad I got the best of these 2 days without rain. The camping site was also very empty, with just a couple of other people other than me, with their little camp setup. The day is coming to an end, but before heading to dinner and a hot bath, I'm heading to the nearby lake, roughly 6 kilometers from here. First time in my life seeing monkeys, and even free in nature. Definitely an interesting encounter. I've been a parkour practitioner for the past 11 years now, and animals like monkeys are an endless source of inspiration just from the way they move. It's fascinating how much their body adapts to the environment they live in. Funny thing, as I'm recording this voiceover, Bike Breath, one of my favorite bicycle-related channels, just published a video of a bike trip out of town to a swimming spot. I guess summer is calling all the bike enthusiasts for escaping the city out in nature. I was quite puzzled by this coincidence. And if you guys from Bike Breath are watching, keep up the good work. After another bunch of tunnels, this time way shorter than the first one, we got to Lake Okutama, with the water level way lower than I was expecting. Still pretty though. Quick look at the bike bag setup. I'm running a Swift Catalyst and a large Fairweather stand pouch. These two bags proved to be the perfect fit for an overnighter like this, or a daily trip in general, both in urban and nature areas. Big enough to carry all your needs without a backpack and give easy access if needed. At first I thought I needed a bigger bag, but I still have to test the ground on bikepacking and see how I feel about it. And considering I ride most of the times in the city and urban areas, having the chance to tinker my bike setup with smaller bags is definitely more efficient than always having to carry around a big bag. Maybe that will do for a future upgrade. Bumping the toge back to Okutama, we're heading to the local onsen for dinner and a hot bath. Quite feels like I was in Initial D episode. Or in this case, Initial B. Speaking about Initial D, I'm pretty sure all the fans of the anime watching this video will appreciate this tiny snippet. After a long day of riding, especially uphill and in the Japanese summer, a hot bath and a nice dinner is all you need. And the local public bath, Moegi no Yu, didn't let the expectations down. Had a wonderful time and properly relaxed, ready for the night. What kind of a camping day would be without my AeroPress and a nice coffee on camp? At least, that's what I would say if I didn't forget my coffee at home. Yeah, sometimes that happens as well, but it's a nice occasion to just have a laugh at yourself. Thank you for sticking around with me today. I wish you plenty of bike rides for the folks living in the summer part of the world, and I hope that all the others can find some warmth in these summer bike videos. See you soon.